for our resolution number 6-2025 to set the realty tax collector bond at 30% of the tax duplicate for the year 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries. For resolution number 7-2025, our municipal authority member,
I make a motion to appoint Darlene Barney to the Municipal Authority Board.
I'll second that. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. For our resolution number 8-2025, the zoning hearing board members, the vacancy of a 3-year term to expire on January 1st, 2028. As Kara Sheardon.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I didn't hear.
She said no.
Okay, 4-1, Carol. For resolution number 9-2025, for our zoning hearing board first alternate for a vacancy of a 3-year term to expire on January 1st, 2028 is Joe Flaherty.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. For resolution number 10-2025, our CPA accounting firm is Hosex, Beck, Mutual, and Wood for a 3-year, this is the year 3 of a 3-year contract.
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. For resolution number 11-2025, for our Chief Administrative Officer of Pensions is Don Januso.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. For resolution number 12-2025, for the non-uniform pension fund at 3% of the gross salary towards the non-uniform pension fund, which is the same as 2024.
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. For our resolution number 13-2025, the police pension plan at 5% of their gross salary toward the police pension plan. Again, it's the same as 2024.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. For resolution number 14-2025, for vacancy board member,
I make a motion for Ed Poberk.
it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Did I hear everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Darlene?
Aye.
Okay. The motion carries. For resolution number 15-2025, establish the dates for the Board of Supervisors monthly meeting as the first Monday of the month at
I
7
make the
p.m.
motion for Barbara Hamilton to be on the vacancy board member.
I'm sorry, Darlene, please say it again.
She made a motion for Barb Hamilton on vacancy board, but she already voted on that for Ed Poberk. That's passed, yeah.
Did
I'm
you
so-
say something, Tom?
I'm sorry, Darlene. There was a motion and a second, and we voted on it.
I'm,
There's a motion and a second, and I called for a vote.
okay.
And I thought you said yes for.
She did say yes.
No, I says I make a motion for Barb Hamilton to remain on the vacancy board.
Well, if there's a motion on the floor, I have to process that one first before I move it to either an amended motion or a second motion. So I called for a vote. I mean, we registered you as a yes vote, but if you say your vote was no for Ed Poberk, let me know right now.
Okay, no.
Okay, so 4-1, the motion carries. For resolution number 15-2025, is to establish, we did that already, right?
Yep, we did
Yeah.
that one.
Yep.
Do we vote on it?
No.
Yeah, is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved and
Second.
seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries. For resolution number 16-2025, the pay period every other Thursday for all full-time employees. The benefits will remain the same as in 2024, except where they're amended by contract. Administrative employees will contribute 1.5% of gross pay towards their health care plan. Is there a motion to approve this pay period and resolution?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion carries. For resolution number 17-2025, to certify delegates to the State Association's convention. Does anybody have an interest in going or
I
availability?
plan to go this year. Dawn, are you going to go too? Make him the delegate, but I'll just attend as a
Okay,
regular.
The delegates will be Cindy Fisher and Dawn Januso. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
It's been moved. I'll second that. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion carries. For resolution number 18-2025, to name the voting delegate at the state convention. It can only be one from the
Make
our
it Dawn,
association.
just in case.
Okay, a motion for Dawn Januso. I'll
Second.
second that. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion carries. If there can be no further business for this reorganizational meeting, I'll declare this meeting closed.
I object. I think that we as the public should have, some input to what just happened here. And I'd like to say something if I may.
Yeah, we're gonna go into the meeting shortly.
Okay.
We're gonna meet soon.
Anyway, it's not about a shorter meeting.
I said we're going into it shortly.
So I'm here to request a separate jobs postings for all the positions that you guys just filled. We couldn't hear half of the names. You guys ran through them, and more than a 24-hour before our meetings happen that we even know which positions are open. We still are not sure who filled some of the positions. So I'm requesting more time be allowed for the citizens to address concerns by you combining these two meetings tonight, whether it was weather related or not. It shortens us to have the ability to give feedback. It seems like you guys are just rubber stamping everybody in, and I'm not okay with it. This is our local government, and we the people should have some input. I argue the board stop allowing one person to serve on multiple boards. We have Cecil Township, we have 14,857 citizens. Why are the Barneys the only ones fit to serve and serving on 3 boards now? Last meeting, you kind of rubber stamped her husband right up in that spot. Government structures are designed to have checks and balances between different boards and authorities. So when one person holds a position that interconnects boards, it reduces the independence of those checks and particularly weakens our oversight and accountability for us as citizens to you, our elected officials. The Board of Supervisors has final authority over zoning changes, approvals, conditional use, while the zoning board handles zoning appeals and variances. The municipality authority does decisions for budgets. It's screaming improprieties. When a husband and wife can hold multiple positions, it has to raise concerns. It does for me. What about our Sunshine Act? They said that having private discussions about township business is kind of what it's there to prevent. The act is designed to prevent back channels and decision makings. A married couple holding positions on multiple boards has to raise questions, whether the discussions are happening or not. The Pennsylvania Sunshine Act ensures transparency over government by requiring officials' actions, deliberations by public agencies to be conducted in open meetings where the public can attend, participate, and observe. I don't feel like that's happened tonight. The act prohibits a quorum of a board from discussing official matters in private. While them as husband and wife don't make quorum themselves, they could be talking to each other. They could be influences decisions across these respective boards. And it seems
AC, come on, wind it down,
untrustworthy.
please.
I'm almost done. It seems untrustworthy that these transparency requirements aren't being met. Even if no violations are occurring between them, it has to cause some red flags with you guys, because it does with us citizens. By allowing these appointments, you're opening us up to legal challenges, penalties, damages, not to mention how the taxpayers of Cecil Township looks upon how we are governed.
AC,
Barney is
okay.
overlapping her
AC, okay,
position.
well, you raised your questions. Thank you very much. We're going to move into our
why
business
can't we
meeting.
just stop
I'm going to call
this?
this meeting to order.
Tom,
Would you please
Tom,
join us
wait.
in a salute to our nation's
No,
flag,
listen
please?
to us. We're the taxpayers, Tom. See, this just proves it.
Come on, I'm going to start it. I pledge allegiance
It's shady.
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
Please let the record show that Supervisors Cassiola, Aguizio, Fisher, Barney, and Schifani are in attendance, in addition to Don Janus, our Township Manager, Jack King, our Assistant Township Manager and Director of Planning, Sean Bukovinsky, our Chief of Police, Joe Herson, our Director of Public Works, Fire Chief Ted Wolford, Dan Miller of Southbridge EMS, Engineer Dan Dizeroth of Gateway Engineers, and Solicitor Gretchen Moore. So if there's any residents who want to make a comment on some item you see on the agenda, please feel free to do it tonight or now. But we want you to please stand up so either to come to the microphone so everybody can hear you and give us your name and address for the record, please. Anybody have any comments on agenda items?
Agenda items only.
Yes. All right, I'm going to just go to announcements. The Ladies Auxiliary is sponsoring a family bingo at the Cecil Volunteer Fire Department, number 3 in Millers Run Road here on Sunday, January 12th. Doors open 11 a.m., bingo starts at 11:45. There will not be a Historic Society meeting in January. I guess that's it. First of all, our professional staff reports. Don, you have something for us?
I'm sorry, I don't
All right. Sean, please report.
So tonight, this is going to be a surprise, and I don't get the chance to do many police reports like this, and it's going to be a special one, and this person is absolutely going to be surprised. So today, we are going to recognize a very important employee for 25 years of service, and this 25 years service is presented to Carol Farkas, our police administrative assistant. So everybody can agree in appreciation for 25 years of service, loyalty, and distinguished honor in service. Carol? And thank everybody for keeping it a secret. Carol, congratulations. I think she deserves a speech. You want a speech? Thank you, Carol. You deserve it. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, I have something to say too about Carol. 26 years ago, Carol worked for me, but I didn't have full-time work for her, so she worked for me a few days a week in my business. She was way beyond what I needed a secretary for. Well, at that time, 26 years ago, it was the first time we budgeted money in our workshop or our budget for a police secretary administrative assistant. Our former chief had asked for years, but we never had the money to hire somebody and to fund it. So that year, I went to that police chief and I said, "Look, I says my board budgeted money for a secretary for you this year," and he said he couldn't have been happier. Then I said, "And I have the perfect person for you." His body just shrunk down like this. He just shrunk away. He just thought, "Oh, don't tell me it's going to be a political." Somebody for a political appointment or something like that, because I guess he had high hopes for picking a good secretary. So from that point on, once he got to know Carol, with Carol working for him, I used to threaten him anytime I felt like it, saying that we're going to pull her out of his department and move her into the administration, and we're going to find somebody else for you. And I always got my way with him when I made that threat. So Carol, again, we're so glad to have you.
She does. No one works harder than Carol, that's for sure.
We can't go on without you, Carol. All right, for resolution number 19-2025, it's to consider the application 2024-0029 for the alto pianos Phase 6 revised Lot 528 and 601 to 604. The applicant is Graziani Homes in alto piano. Dan?
Yeah, this subdivision, I had to color it up so everybody could fully see what's going on. This lot here that's outlined in yellow is owned by the Graziani family. Essentially what they're doing is they're splitting this up and they're going to, I'm sure they're selling it or giving it to people. I'm sure they're selling it to all three of these other lots. So here in green is one lot. They're getting the piece, as you can see here, that I have with a green tick mark. The orange lot is getting this piece, and the red lot is getting this piece. So we had 4 lots. We're ending up with 3. They've addressed all the comments, and the plan's ready for your consideration.
So it's a simple subdivision, basically.
Yeah, just a lot line revision.
All right, is there a motion to approve resolution 19-2025?
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion carries. For item number 2025, it's to consider application number 2024-0031 for the Lanks Consolidation Plan. The applicant is Marcy Lanks on Johns Road in McDonald. Dan?
Yeah, this is located on John Avenue. And really, this is even simpler than the last one. This is 2 lots owned by the same person. They're actually combining these together to make one lot, which I understand they're going to build a new home on. And that's it.
All right, is there a motion to approve 2020-25?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Darlene, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. For 21-2025, consider application for payment number 6 and a final for the work on Profio Road, McConnell Road, Klinger Road, Morgan Road, North DePauli Road, and Oliver Street, completed to date for the 2024 pavement maintenance contract A in amount of $35,811.36 to Independent Enterprises.
So we make this recommendation. They've provided the required maintenance bond, and it's already, all the paperwork's together on this one.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
It's moved. I'll second that motion. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Abstained.
Carol passes 4-0 to 1 abstention. For item 2020.
Talk a little bit louder into that microphone,
Okay.
please.
All right. I don't want to blast everybody else out of the room, though, Darlene. I'm sorry. Item number 22-2025. It's to consider application for payment number 4 and a final for the work on Profio Road, McConnell Road, Klinger Road, Morgan Road, North DePauli Road, and Oliver Street, completed to date for the 2024 pavement maintenance contract C in the amount of $4,588.94 to the parking lot painting.
Yeah, this is sort of the annual line striping and pavement marking contract, and it's ready to be finalized out. We would make this recommendation.
So moved.
It's been moved. And I'll second that. Those in favor signify by saying yes.
Hold on one second. I thought on North DePauli, I thought we were going to be doing some line striping around the restaurant there on the corner.
That's still in the works, Bill.
Okay.
They're not going to paint now too, since it got cold like this.
Okay.
But it's still in the works. Do we vote on that?
I forgot about that. You're right.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion carries. For item 23-2025 is to consider change order number 1 to the Cecil Township Public Works Facility in the plumbing contract to First American Industries in amount of $2,764.58 for additional piping service to the lift, or the vehicle lift.
Yeah, this is the change order related to, after the vehicle lift was selected, it actually had a pneumatic component. They needed to bring air from another location in the building over to the facility. We've reviewed the request and the presented by First American, and we would recommend this change order be approved. It's really a cost associated with the lift. I mean, based upon the lift selected. I wasn't involved in the lift selection. I just know that we need this at the end of the day.
Or is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been
Second.
moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion carries. For item number 24-2025, it's to consider application for payment number 10 for the work completed on the Cecil Township Public Works Facility in the fire protection system in the amount of $950 to Alliance Fire Systems, Inc.
Yeah, this is just a partial payment. We'd recommend this payment as listed.
How close are they to being complete?
Very complete. Very, very close.
Okay.
I think we're just holding retainage at this point.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. For Resolution 25-2025, it's to consider application for payment number 10R and the final for the work completed to date on the Public Works Facility in the fire protection system in the amount of $12,500 to Alliance Fire Systems.
Yeah, so now they're complete with the second one. We're paying their retainage, so the project is complete.
All right. We got it. Is there a motion to approve that motion?
So moved.
Or that item? It's been moved. I'll second that. Those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. For number 26-2025, consider the full release of the financial security posted for the private improvements for the Valley Tire Company land development, a total reduction of $624,075 upon satisfaction of any other payments due to the township, as recommended by the township engineer.
Yeah, this is, we've been going through and trying to final out some of these land development projects. They had not made any request for release on these funds. We did an inspection of the site, and we recommended the reduction. I just added that last sentence in based upon discussions with Cindy Alexander, just to make sure that if there's any bills due the township, that before she gives them their money back, that they pay the township first.
All right. Dan, now we know about the private improvements, because you just mentioned some of the private improvements that make up that kind of money on a private
Yeah, this
business.
would be paving, grading, drainage, stormwater management, erosion and sedimentation control, everything it takes to develop a site except the building.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve that payment?
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion carries. For number 27-2025, consider the award of the bid of Sternissa Excavating in the amount of $56,000 for the 22 Mooney Road disposal and cleanup project.
Yeah, we hustled to get this project back out the bid after you guys were successful in getting the grants to clean up the site. So the number that we had asked for from the Sternissa to give us guidance on how much money to request for the grant, they came back through and honored their price and gave us a bid of $56,000. We had two other bids, one at $59,000 and one at $116,000. So my recommendation is to award the contract to Sternissa for the completion of the cleanup at 22 Mooney Road.
Cindy, was the award based on that estimate?
It was actually $10,000 higher, wasn't it? So it was two grants. It was one $25,000 grant from the DEP and a second grant that made up the difference. But it was based,
31, I
yeah,
thought?
something like that. But it was based on the estimate
40,
from
that's the
Sternissa.
41 I heard about. So
Yeah.
that covers it all then, right?
Yeah, we had 25. Well, we had it and then I messed it up and then got it back again. But yeah, so we have it again.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve this, awarding this bid?
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. For item 28-2025, is to consider application for payment number 20 and final for the work completed to date for the Public Works Facility Building, electrical in the amount of $82,877.54 to S.E. Schultz Electric, contingent on receipt of the required maintenance bond.
This is the closeout of this contract. All their punch list items have been addressed, and it's in order for payment. They have ordered the bonds. I just told them to put it on with that contingency. I didn't want to hold their money for an extra month if the bonds came, if they came through and got their maintenance bond.
So it's a conditional approval,
Yes.
so. Okay, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. We're on 29, right? Item number 29-2025, it's consider the award of our salt shed lighting proposal to the S.C. Schultz Electric Company in the amount of $13,265.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. I'd remind you that we've got a grant for the building itself, but there wasn't not lighting included, and we needed, our guys work sometimes round the clock.
I think just for the record, Tom, I believe Public Works secured 3 quotes for this, and 4 quotes, and this was a low quote.
Good,
I mean,
okay.
we literally got a salt storage shed that's like over $600,000 for $13,000. So go us. Go team.
All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved. So I'll second that. Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. For our 30-2025, consider setting a hearing date for the repeal of our cluster development housing ordinance out of our Unified Development Ordinance. Is there a motion to?
Make
or
a
do we
motion.
get- we need a.
Do you want to just do it? Will it take long? Could we
15
just do it?
minutes.
So could we do like 6:30 before?
Yes. Is everybody okay?
Well, you
Six-
need 30 days, so we can't do it at the February meeting because we need 30 days to get it
do it to
over.
March then.
So we'll do
So
it
you
at
can move it to the March
6:30
meeting.
in March.
March 3rd.
Okay.
That works.
Okay, we have a motion for that date.
Make a motion.
It's been moved.
I'll second.
Second, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. For our item 31-2025, it's to consider promotion of a part-time firefighter Maxwell Ted Castaller to full-time firefighter at an hourly rate of $28. I know it says 26 something in the, what you might have been passed out, but the rate we're approving is $28. Is there a motion to
So
approve
moved.
that? It's been moved and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. For number 32-2025, it's to consider adopting a revised schedule for the township fees and permits. I mean, we've circulated that for a while. I think our board feels that's bringing it up to date and covering all our costs. So is there a motion to approve that revised schedule?
So moved.
It's been moved and second, and I'll second that. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. We will have that posted too. It's rather lengthy. It's like 3 pages of different kind of permits that we're required to either acquire or make property owners get. Before I go on to these general things, I just want to finish our professional reports. I think I finished with, I can't even find it now.
You just did the police one.
I think, so, okay, Jack, anything on the building and zoning? Okay, thank you. Joe, I know you're new here, but I guess we should be introduced too to everyone here.
Joe Urson, Public Works. The department responded to several weather-related issues over the last few weeks. There was a high wind event where we responded with the police and fire departments to 9 locations of trees and wires down. Also, the department had several early morning starts related to snow and icing conditions. And currently, the township has 2,000 tons of road salt on hand and another 500 tons on order.
And you'll find out Joe's a man of few words. You'll get to know that like we did. Dan, our engineers report, anything else?
Yeah, the board has a copy of my December 30th report. Just a comment that we are trying to clean up some of these land development projects that have been hanging out for a while, working with Liz Ross on that. And then on development activity, the only thing really new to report is that they appear to be ready to start the next phase of the Traditions of American Development. And that's phases 6 and 7, which are the final 2 phases. That's all I really have to report on.
All right, Dan, thank you. Gretchen, solicitor's report?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The board has my official report with everything that's going on in the township. Of note, I will mention that we just closed out an OOR appeal. We closed out the record of an OOR appeal. This was the range right to know request, so we were awaiting a decision on that. We currently have a substantive validity challenge to the oil and gas ordinance, as well as a procedural validity challenge that were filed, which we will deal with. We have one land use appeal that's been appealed to Commonwealth Court by the applicant that had to do with a setback variance issue. And that's it for major litigation.
Can we clarify so the public knows? So Mark West filed a procedural validity challenge saying that we didn't follow all the procedural steps in establishing the ordinance. Obviously, we strongly disagree with that. We're going to defend that in court. But on top of that, Range Resources filed a validity challenge that will be heard January 20th in front of our zoning hearing board. And their argument is that the 2,500-foot setback is exclusionary. So we will also need to defend that in front of the zoning hearing board, just so you understand.
Thank you for that. Ted, Fire Department report?
Yeah, right before Christmas, we met with the DCED technical consultant. We had a meeting. I thought the meeting went very well with him. They reviewed our bylaws, said there was some recommendations in there. We're working with the steering committee right now to fix those recommendations. We're also working on developing more policies for the fire department, and the 3 companies will be following those policies. We're looking to get some more meetings set up with the DCED here in the near future and keep moving towards the merger. He also said the merger is probably going to take about 2 to 3 years to fully complete because it's a slow process, and with all the parts that move with it, it just takes that much time to complete everything.
All right. Anything else, Ted?
That's it.
All right, thank you, Ted. Dan, any report?
Just that I'll have a year-end or annual summary for 2024 next meeting, so we'll give you some fun details then.
All right, thank you, Dan. We did the resolutions. For the item number 33-2025 is to consider the Board of Supervisors meeting minutes from Monday, December 2nd at the public hearing.
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion carries. For item number 34-2025, consider the Board of Supervisors minutes for the Monday, December 2nd, regularly monthly meeting.
So moved.
It's been moved. Yeah, I'll second that. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Do I hear some more ayes?
Huh?
Do I hear some more ayes?
Yeah, sorry. We're chuckling down here because he keeps seconding it and you're not hearing him.
Oh, sorry. For item number 35-2025, it's considered the Board of Supervisors minutes from the Monday, December 3rd special meeting.
So moved.
It's been moved and
He
seconded.
seconded.
I heard. I'm attuned now. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. For item number 36-2025, it's considered the Board of Supervisors minutes from the Monday, December 30th special meeting where we adopted our final 2025 budget with no tax increase.
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. For item number 37-2025, it's to consider the general fund invoices from December 1st through December 31st, 2024.
So moved.
It's been moved
Second.
and seconded. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 The motion carries. So at this time, we will take comments from our residents on any just general, thing of general interest or questions. Well, please come up to the microphone too, please.
AC Roland 52 Sycamore Street. So I want to address some concerns in regarding with the functionality of our website page. It just seems like everything's buried. We've had people, including myself, go on there for the Act 14, have not received one notice. There's been no updates. You go to our job posting board, there's jobs on there from 2022 and beyond. I mean, that stuff needs to get archived. And it's like we need a clearer way for us as citizens to use our township website. It isn't just about keeping things tidy, it's about accountability and transparency. Like keep job postings up for a month, post when they get filled, who filled them, and then put them into an archive section. But there's like 7 pages. Because I was looking to see who you guys were putting up for what you guys just did when you pushed through. And it's almost impossible to find. One job was posted. It's like, I know Jack is put in charge of everything. And it's like he's on another board too. Again, this is a situation where maybe there's too much on his plate. Because you have things that I've seen you guys, and we've got on record saying go put on to the Facebook page, and we don't see it. And then when you call or you ask, it's either you're shut down or it's like, it's in there and that's it. You know, it needs to be more user friendly. The agendas are another problem that I'm having. It's like half the time when we get them, we get the draft of them and there's no names. It's just blanks. It's a bunch of blanks. How can we as a community, as citizens, give a counter argument or support or disapprove of something, some group, some person, some entity that you guys are pushing when the only information we're given 24 hours, if at best, before we show up here is a blank line. It's like, you know, you all knew Darlene Barty's husband was on that list for the last meeting. None of us knew. Only you guys knew. That's not good.
Stacey, can I just interrupt 1 second? You can finish after, but I'm going to tell you, whenever we have personnel issues, until it actually gets approved, we're not going to put a name out in the public and find out that person doesn't get the vote. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing if we put your name on here on a position and you get voted down.
Why is that embarrassing? That's called governance.
We've never done it before, and we won't put somebody's name out until we actually have a motion for it. And plus, wait a minute. Plus, these kind of positions, they're administrative functions. We don't need your input to tell us how a person we should appoint or why we shouldn't appoint a certain. We have responsibilities in an MPC to do certain things, like name all these positions and fill them, and that's an administrative function.
But isn't part of that filling it with us, the taxpayers and voters? Shouldn't we have an opportunity to apply and put in resumes?
The answer is no. You asked the question.
Jobs?
You asked the question. The answer is
Where
no.
do you get
You're
the
not going to
pool
have
of people
input
from?
on administrative appointments like that. Just accept it.
So, no, we aren't going to just accept. How is it that we as citizens can apply for these positions in our local government? Only you, Tom, get to decide, or Jack gets to decide, or Don gets to decide which resumes are put in and who goes through? How is that fair and how is that legal?
You're going to see one item we talk about later after you're done is that there's some positions open. There's 3 positions open on the Planning Commission, 1 on the second alternate for the Zoning Hearing Board, and 3 Parks and Rec, right, and 1 on the Planning Commission. So,
Great,
I mean, you're going to hear that. We're going to ask put it on the website.
Perfect. I'm glad to hear that, Tom. But at the end of the day, up until now, it seems that it's just missing. And it's sad. And I feel like for you to tell us as voters and taxpayers that we cannot apply for these jobs because... Well, you're saying we have. How are we going to apply for jobs if you don't post that they're available?
I just said we're going to be posting 4 positions.
We're gonna. What about what you just did? Why weren't you gonna prior to this when you already knew the positions were up?
AC, we didn't. There weren't open positions.
Cindy, that's not true. I looked for 2 days, and there was only one of those positions.
AC, I sat and listened to you. Can you listen to me for a minute?
Listening, but it's just you're not being honest.
Yeah, that's, yeah. No, I want to say something.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I want to say something. It's not disingenuous. There are people who have been serving on boards who've done a good job for a long time and who've asked to be reappointed. I agree with Supervisor Cassiola. The people that were appointed tonight were the people that have been serving on the boards that ask to be reappointed. The open positions that we will post will be positions that are open to the public to apply to. And AC, you're not factually accurate because I just looked it up. There's no jobs that have been open since 2020. I'm not here to argue with you. Could the website, AC, I listen to you, can you listen to me? There are always things that can be improved. So I will take an opportunity if, Jack, you are willing to let me, and we can sit down and we can try to figure out how to make it better. But to sit up here and scream at us and to say that we're not trying or that we don't listen isn't fair and isn't right, because that's not true.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that you took it that way, but it's offensive.
You called me a liar. And I'm done.
I didn't call you a liar, just said that's
You
not
did.
true because those jobs are still on there.
They're not. I
My point
just
is you've
looked.
got Darlene and her husband.
Michelle,
holding
do
three
you want to
positions.
come up?
We're not going to, you might not accept it, but you're not going to agree with us. We're the ones that when we get applications, we're going to decide on administrative positions. We don't need you to comment on somebody's name that came to us. Go ahead.
The name, it's the availability.
You'll see them posted now.
Well, I feel like with the new monitor, I have to. Here we go. It's probably better. Can't see you guys.
Grow up, Michelle.
I know.
We'll start calling you Polly Pocket.
Sorry. Michelle Stonemark, 40 north of Poly. First of all, congratulations, Carol. You're literally one of my favorite people on the planet, so you deserve everything that you got here tonight. I just love you. I have been emailing the board. I don't know that I've been emailing all of you, but definitely Tom and Frank and Jack and Dawn about what's been happening up at the Augustine pad. They're definitely doing something, and there's definitely activity happening, and it's causing a lot of vibrations in our house again. Not as bad as when, you guys were in my house, but we feel it more at night, like especially when we're laying down, when we're walking around and, busying ourselves throughout the day, it's not as bad, but like when we're laying down at night, it's almost like every 3 hours. And I've addressed this concern with Jack on multiple occasions, and he's not getting any response back from range. The last response that I got from you, and I apologize if you haven't one since then, but that they said they'd remedied, on December 28th, they remedied the concern. And it was still happening to me last night.
Jack, what are they telling you is going on up there?
But real quick, sorry, one more thing.
Sorry, I asked him.
No, it's okay. The other update, like they send the schedule and update, and there's nothing on it. The schedule that they send to the township, there's nothing on it. So I just would like somebody to look into it more. Here, go, Jack.
Jack, tell us what you.
Sure. Michelle and I did go back and forth last week on a few, the responses are brief and they're vague. The latest response, which was today that I did not get to you, and I apologize, was simply everything is functioning as normal is their answer. So, in talking with Michelle, the vibration isn't as bad as it was, but it's still there, and I'm still trying to find out what it is. I'm not getting a lot of clarity from them.
So, Jack, the other day I was looking on the DEP violation website, and there was a report, which I actually have. Yeah, sorry. Let me pull it up. Sorry, my computer's having technical, so I have to look on my phone. But they had responded to you at one point that it was for production or to pull the plugs, correct, to pull the plugs to get the well into production. Is that what they had told you, or no? Yeah.
That was several months ago, yeah.
Okay. Hold on one second. Let me pull it. Bear with me one second. Because of that cracked casing from back in August, according to the DEP, it says the department conducted a follow-up inspection of range resources Augustine 6H well on 12/10. The rig is currently washing through existing 5.5 casing collar at 262 feet in preparation for installing a new 5.5 casing. Prior to today, they set a composite BP, I don't know what that means, at 210 and pumped 3.2 pounds of cement on top of and squeeze cement through the washout holding pressure for 18 hours. So it sounds to me, and I'll forward you this so that you have it, and Gretchen, so that you have it as well. But it sounds to me that the reason it goes on to explain that the reason the rig's there is to fix that broken casing. Does that make sense?
That's the most information I've heard.
I just found it. I can send you the link. I found it, and I'll send it to you, Michelle, too. I just found the DEP has a violations page. I was bored on a conference call, so I was like searching through, and there's a number of links specifically for that Augustine 6H, and there's a number of pictures too. If you want to kind of scroll through and look.
So you think that's what they're doing up there? Like,
That's what the DEP, I mean, I don't know why the DEP will put that in a report, but it specifically says that's what the rig is up there for.
okay, well, do they give any kind of, because for me, it's like, and I said this in my emails to you guys, like it's almost, it gets really bad like every 3 hours, almost on the button every 3 hours. And I get woken up every single time, every 3 hours, which is like some kind of vibration that happens, and it's my room and my kids' room that feel it the most because we're in the back of the house. So but it's like a legitimate every 3 hours. So I don't know if there's something that they do every 3 hours. I mean, but it's clear, like I've been keeping track, and it is like I wake up, if it's midnight, I'm waking up at 3 and then 6. And if it's 1, I'm waking up at 4 and then 7. Like it's,
Gretchen, is it worth reaching out to the DEP and seeing if we can get a more direct answer from them? To be frank, last time I reached out to Range specifically about this issue, I got a snarky response that it's not my concern, it's for the DEP, which is why I started looking for that. Yeah. And so maybe if we go directly to the DEP, like then we'll have an understanding not only of what's going on, but how long it's going to take.
well, that's what my question is. Like, I just want to know, is this what it's going to be forever now? Like, I need to know. I need to know. Like, is this whatever they're doing going to go on for another couple of weeks? Is whatever they're doing going to go on for another couple of months? Or is it going to go on forever? Because those are 3 very different things for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Jack's done a great job of trying to get an answer from them.
Look, we're like best friends now. We've been talking all the time.
So I feel like at this point, it's just we have to take it maybe above them and see if we can get an
I would
answer.
appreciate it. And like, I wasn't even planning on talking tonight, but I just happened to see the post today on Facebook about the update on the Cecil Township Facebook page, and it reminded me when AC brought up the page, and I'm like, yeah, it's crap, because it says they're not doing anything, but they are.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle.
Would it be okay if I pulled up the Act 14?
Yeah.
You want to discuss it?
Well, just to show that it's there.
Okay, go ahead.
The process that
Sure.
everybody can follow. There's actually two processes here, Tom. First off, I can send it out, but people can sign up and have it sent to them directly. There's an opportunity for them to add their comments to whatever the DEP sends. And instead of having people send it to me accumulate it, send it out to the DEP, they can send it directly to the DEP if they sign up and get the direct link. And I just want to take a minute and show people where that is.
Go ahead.
And the reason, while Jack's pulling it up, the reason why there are no postings relative to Act 14 notices is the township has not received any. So you won't find any if we don't receive them, so.
Okay, so here we are. Here's the main page. Excuse the, just so you know, counting hauling is delayed by a day due to weather. Under residents, Act 14 of 2022, reporting. Click on that. Let me get rid of that. Here's everything you need to know. If it's an emergency, dial the 800 number. Pending permits, here's the link, takes you right to any pending permits, which I believe Supervisor Fisher referred to. Types of submissions, tells you a little bit about it. Here's the process where you can sign up for yourself and get them those notifications sent to you directly. So really, they're going to come to us, and Dawn and I have worked out that procedure already, but they can also be sent directly to them via email to individuals who sign up. Currently, there's 5 people that are signed up, and you know, that would cut out me being the middle person on it.
Well, I think that's our point too, that we're not inclined to burden you with having to be a middleman. If it's available, if somebody wants them, here's how they can request them, and it'll go directly to them, and you won't be a middleman, because I know you have enough duties without being a middleman for these, since there is another.
I get them directly from the DEP's website, and keep in mind, it's not something that's sent daily or weekly. Sometimes there's a couple, and then sometimes it's like months later before another one comes. So it's not something you're going to get all the time.
Thank you, Jack.
Yep, you're welcome.
Hey, there we have no old business, but I did want to bring up something on new business, and it's for us in the public here to discuss the disposition of the old Public Works building once the Public Works is completely moved out. And in looking into that, we found out that we can either repurpose the building or we can tear it down. And I think in talking with the police chief and the fire chief and even Dan from Southbridge, they had some ideas that they wanted to mention to us, that how if it could be repurposed, they're going to talk about it in a minute. But we also talked about that the building needs flood-proofed. And would you please pass these out to everybody, all the way down there? Here's one, two. I just want to go over this report from.
Take one, pass it down.
Here's one more, Dawn.
You didn't graduate
Here's one more in
elementary
case you
school.
need it. Gateway had looked into this for us about flood-proofing the building, and what their architect came up with, that we could install a buttress wall around that whole building. I mean, it flooded last time. We got 11 inches of water in it. And obviously, we're not going to repurpose a building if it's going to be subject to flooding every once in a while. So we talked about, there's a couple bullet points. What he mentioned that we could do to it is to install either concrete block or a cast wall approximately 30 inches high around the perimeter of the building. That's the entire perimeter. All the garage doors would be eliminated, because you can't really flood-proof if you have an operating garage door. He said we would raise all the existing man doors and install concrete stairs up to them on the inside landing and stay back down. When you're going to hear from our professionals that they don't really need vehicles in there. They want to be. They're going to talk about getting personnel in there. So we'd have access for them to get in. We'd install backflow preventers on our existing drain lines, and then just install a sump pump system in a low point. And it's nothing major. I mean, they can pump New Orleans. It's below sea level. They can pump that. We can pump our building down there if any water leaks through that buttress wall. But he gave us an estimate by talking to some, or looking on, what's that book that he looks at for?
He checked it on means, and then he also talked to a general contractor.
And he estimated between 85 and 95,000 to flood-proof that building. Now, we have what's the size of that building, Dan? I had the size here. Well, just hold on one second, I have it right here. The building's 11,000 square feet. So right now it's kind of worthless if it floods. And 11,000 square foot, that's a pretty large facility for our emergency providers to work in. So to spend some money on it, we got to consider whether that it's worth it. It's there's 8,000 square feet of like open garage area and 3,000 square feet of typical office area. So right now, I'd like to ask Sean, first of all, just if we would repurpose this, what benefit would be to your police department and even some of our neighbors?
No, absolutely, and thank you for considering this. I think it's a wonderful idea. We do a lot of in-house training now to prevent a lot of costs that are actually having us travel and go distances to be able to train our officers, which require traveling time and overtime. This facility with the fire department, and I'd even reach out to Dan, this could be a training center for our officers to get them out of the elements. We do a lot of training at the fire academy over in Cecil Township at this time, and it could be a 90-degree day. It's hard on our guys, as well as we do train in the cold weather too. This gives us the opportunity to do less lethal training, which is taser. It could be defensive tactics. Right now, we have a MAT, and there are laws that require us to do handcuffing training every year through the state. And we have mats that we're in a garage now, and it's not heated very well, and it's very narrow. So, we have to be very careful on the mats and not hit a wall or garage door. So as you said, the 8,000 square foot garage, I mean, that gives us an opportunity to get more mats. It gives us the ability to do entries on situations where clearing rooms, for example. We do it at the fire academy. We train at the burn house, which is very dirty, and he can tell you it's dangerous too, even whenever there's not smoke in there. So we can put up different walls and different scenarios to have the officers do clearing the rooms. We usually use Sims with that. It's like almost like a close thing to a BB gun, I guess you can say. And it has a pellet, and it leaves a paint mark on the officer where the bullet hit. So we do live scenarios with that training. And all around, again, just having a classroom or a size area to have and accommodate many officers, that would be wonderful. I just thank you guys having the opportunity. Ted and I did have a meeting today and talk a little bit about it, and we're excited to see what you guys are able to offer to us, if it's even possible. We will, would appreciate it, and we'd definitely use it during shifts. We would have a scheduling system we talked about. Right now at the Fire Academy, there's a schedule that they could go on and see who's using it. He does a lot of training in the evenings. We typically do them during the daytime and schedule around the officer's schedule. So we'd be happy to, work with each other to make sure we can use it fairly.
Tom, can I ask a quick question? What's the timing on this? Like, when would we, so can I start looking, can I?
was just gonna say that you and I were planning on working, and see if we could get grants, like an LSA grant or something like that, but, the idea, we just gotta commit to say, do we wanna repurpose this building or tear it down? And we're just trying to find out the sentiment of the board, and even the input from the public, but,
Sorry,
Ted, your uses that you could have?
Yeah, so our uses could go anything from our recruitment all the way to building up new volunteer firefighters as they come into the fire department. You see a lot of the surrounding municipalities doing a citizens fire academy where they ask residents to come in for 4 or 5 days. They spend a few hours in the fire department. The fire department teaches them about the fire department, and then it kind of entices them to join on fully, and then they go through their basic training from there. That would be a good recruitment tool to bring new volunteers in. We could take them to this location and do all that training there for them. We could also utilize a lot of the things that the police department want to set up for everything that we need. And the other problem we run into is the travel times and the distance of the other training locations. Putting that location right here in the township, I can now have all my firefighters in the township. I can assign a few guys that if a call comes in, they can go respond to that call, but everybody's there getting the same training. We're not restricting 5 or 6 guys that have to stay back in the township to go outside of the township to train somewhere else.
Thanks, Ted. Dan?
Yeah, for us, we really have no good facility for all of our employees to have training. So it would be fantastic to have like an auditorium and a work area where when we have new equipment that we need to educate the staff on, or, just general staff meetings, that we have an area that we could go and, obviously scheduling with the rest of the, emergency responders, to make that work. But, it would be a fantastic location. We could send, response out from that with a little delay, and that would be a comfortable setting to get more people in one location to do the training that we need.
I might mention also that a lot of people weren't happy with it, but we spent around $7 million on a 39,000 square foot building. This is a third that size, and it might be a couple $100,000 to renovate it to outside, almost $100,000 to flood-proof it, and whatever they needed inside. And according to Sean and Ted, in my talks with them, they might just want some temporary or some wood stud walls built in that 11,000 square foot open areas, so they can have hallways and clear rooms and things like that. So it's not, they all said they, in the building, and they're all familiar with it, they said they don't really need a lot inside. It's just they could fix that place up. And so that's what we have to consider. I just want to know if the board has an interest in following up and getting some prices and trying to get a grant for it. I think with the fire, EMS, fire, and police on our side with applying for a grant like an LSA, or Cindy knows more places.
I was actually
to find
just
grants.
looking. There's a bunch. There's a lot of opportunity, especially if we're not on a specific time limit.
Yeah,
There's
well,
a lot of
well, we asked
opportunity.
for a lot of grants for sewers and things like that, and those aren't very popular things. But this is something that I think most grant awarders would really like to hear, that it's a place to train EMS people.
Especially because it's police, fire, and EMS, so it's across all emergency services.
So if that's okay with the board, we'd like to proceed with it, just to.
Can I ask a quick question before I start looking for grants? So are we wanting, I mean, it's very hard to get 100% of coverage, but are we willing to invest some money and have a matching grant?
Well, that's a question for the board. Again,
I know, that's why I'm
Tom,
asking.
I would like to see a cost analysis of interior repairs to put this building together. I know there's grant monies available, but I would also like to see what it's going to cost. I mean, I understand the water flood project outside, but what are we talking about? I don't think that building's in the best of shape, so I need to see some numbers or something, how much money we're going to invest in this, if it's worthwhile.
That's kind of what I'm asking.
well, that's why we got to talk to our architect. But again, it's we're not going to engage an architect if the board just wants it torn down. If it's worth investigating further, we have to spend a little bit of money on the professionals to get prices like Frank just asked for. So they're not cheap to get prices. So if we're going to work towards it, we can always stop anytime. If we see that's getting out of hand, you can say, just it's not worth it, tear the building down.
Yeah, I think it's worth looking into. I mean,
How
just
about
understanding.
Bill, I want to know what your opinion, and I heard what Frank said. Darlene, can you still hear us?
Yes, I'm still here. I'm listening.
When I'm asking you,
I
would
can't hear everything that's being said, but I'm getting the gist of it as far as the old municipal building. So I got to agree with Frank. We need to get a cost analysis, but if we can make it work, see what happens.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any comments on that? I mean, a lot of times it's worth hearing opinions outside also, but that's kind of a plan. Repurpose it or tear it down.
I thought there was a lot of mold and stuff in that building that you guys to use.
Any mold can be taken out, but also when there's mold, it's not always black mold. A lot of people hear mold, they assume it's black mold. There's a lot of bread mold from floods, and it doesn't turn into black mold. Bill, did the insurance company that worked with us last time, did we do anything other than replacing equipment with that money? Do you know?
No, we didn't do anything.
Did we have anything extra?
Sure. In the garage, there's a wall that has it's questionable structurally. It's separated from the pilasters. It has the tilt inward towards the garage itself. It's got a glass block windows. The glass block windows are all cracked. So there's obviously an issue going on with that wall right there. At the top of the pilaster, the wall has separated from the pilaster. There's a gap of about an inch or so. We've known about that, and there's some cracks in the back above the garage doors back there. I'm not sure if they're related to that wall also.
All right. Well, our engineers can tell us whether it's fixable or not, and what kind of cost. But wait, but the question for Dawn, you said we spend a lot of the insurance money on replacing equipment. What about any for the remediation and things like that? Was there money left in that?
No. Yes. I mean, I guess it
Go
was
ahead.
a two-tiered question. Yes, there is. Yes, there is money available. No, we have not utilized it for any internal repairs to that building.
Yeah, we weren't going to do it if we were going to tear it down. We're not going to fix it up and then tear it down. So that's why I'm kind of pushing the issue now. We got to decide. I mean, at least start the process, and then if it starts looking too expensive, then we drop it. But we're not going to spend that insurance money that we got for and then end up tearing it down. So I think we got a kind of guide. Did anybody want to say anything before we close the meeting?
It sounds like a great idea, and it would benefit our township, a universal spot like that. Hopefully it can work out. And I think Darlene and Frank are right about that we gotta look into, and maybe Bill can go down, or Joe, our new guy, can go down and give us an update at the next meeting and what was said, or what, how they give us updates of what's going on.
All right. Anybody else have anything else?
Tom, I have something I want to say.
Go ahead, Bill.
Real quick. I just want to stand up and address everybody. I want to thank everybody. let everybody know that our 20th annual Toys for Tots drive was a huge success this year. I thank everybody in the community for coming out. We filled another truckload of, I'm pretty loud. We filled another truckload of toys up for the kids, and we raised $5,000 in cash. So it was a tremendous success. And once again, we thank you. We really appreciate everyone coming out to support the department, the Board of Supervisors, and more importantly, the kids of Washington County. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Bill. Oh, yes. Yeah, Dawn, you know what positions we were going to put on website. Would you just tell everybody?
As far as boards and commissions, the available seats are as follows. For Parks and Rec Board, there were 3 seats available. For the Planning Commission, there is 1 seat available. And the board has talked about having an additional alternate to the Zoning Hearing Board, so that seat is available. So Jack will have the advertisement on our webpage. Interested parties are welcome to submit a letter of interest with a resume, if they so choose, if they're interested in those positions.
Okay, is there anybody else on the board that has any other thing to bring up? Going once, going twice? There being no further business, this meeting is declared adjourned, and thank you.